What would you do if your entire village suddenly broke into uncontrollable dance? In the late 1800s, Madagascar was gripped by a mysterious outbreak, the Malagasy dancing mania. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, mostly women, were seized by bouts of wild, frenzied dancing. Participants would fall into trance-like states, their bodies moving for hours or even days, oblivious to pain, exhaustion, or the world around them. Locals believed these episodes were triggered by ancestral spirits or the powerful tromba possession rituals deeply rooted in Malagasy culture and spiritual life. But the arrival of French colonial authorities brought a new perspective. Colonial doctors dismissed spiritual explanations, labeling the phenomenon as mass hysteria, collective psychosis, or even mental illness. The cultural clash was stark. Rituals that once united communities now became battlegrounds for control and authority. Attempts to suppress the dances only fueled resistance, turning the mania into a subtle form of protest against colonial rule. The dancing mania of Madagascar remains a striking example of how culture, medicine, and power can collide in the most unexpected and profound ways, revealing tensions between tradition and imposed modernity.